All right, let's talk about a skill that really separates the pros from the amateurs, no matter the field. We're diving into the art of solving a tough problem the right way on the very first try.
You know that feeling, right? You pay to get something fixed, and then a week later, bam, the exact same problem is back. It's so frustrating, not to mention expensive. So what's really going on here? Why does this keep happening?
Well, it really boils down to two totally different ways of thinking. On one hand, you've got the parts changer. This is all about guesswork. Maybe it's this part, and you swap it out. It's a fantastic way to waste a whole lot of time and money. But then you have the diagnostician. This person has a strategy. They're not guessing, they're on a mission to find the real culprit.
And here's the thing, the biggest difference isn't about having the fanciest, most expensive tools. Not at all. It's all about a disciplined thinking process, a repeatable 5-step framework that, honestly, anyone can learn to use.
So that's exactly what we're going to do here. We're going to break down that 5-step framework. We'll cover moving from guessing to strategy, how to gather the right clues, telling symptoms apart from their real causes, knowing your tool's limits, and finally, the importance of documenting all your detective work. Let's dive in.
All right, step 1. And this is the big one. Stop guessing, start strategizing. Seriously, this is the foundation for everything that follows. It's about trading in those random shots in the dark for a real, logical plan of attack.
Okay, so what does a strategy actually look like in the real world? Well, first things first, you got to confirm the problem is even real. Can you reproduce it? From there, it's all about gathering info before you touch a single thing. You ask questions, you do your research, and only then, after all that, do you start thinking about what could be wrong. And here's the key. You plan your tests from the easiest and cheapest to the hardest and most expensive. That's efficiency.
And listen to this, because it just nails the point. A technician who immediately replaces the most likely part will be wrong a significant proportion of the time. Ouch. See? Just jumping to the most likely fix is basically a recipe for failure. Having a real strategy isn't just a nice idea. It's the only way to get it right, time after time.
Okay, that leads us perfectly into our second point. You have to gather the right clues. Because, a strategy is completely useless if it's based on bad information. This is where you put on your detective hat.
And we've all been here. The customer says something like their car loses power sometimes. I mean, what are you supposed to do with that? It's so vague. It's like saying, it feels weird. That's not a clue. That's just the start of the puzzle.
This is where an expert shines. They know how to dig deeper. They start asking those specific, targeted questions that turn a vague feeling into actual, usable evidence. When does it happen? Only when it's cold out, going uphill, right after you get gas? Every single one of those answers is a clue that helps you cross suspects off the list.
And that brings us to what might be the absolute most critical thinking skill in this whole process, separating the symptoms from the actual causes. Honestly, this is the core of real diagnostic work.
So think of it this way. The symptom is the thing you notice. It's the warning light, that weird noise, the car pulling to one side. It's the obvious problem. But the cause, that's the thing that's actually responsible for it all. It's the hidden root of the problem. A parts changer just throws a new part at the symptom. A real diagnostician goes hunting for the cause.
And this is where it gets really tricky. Let's take just one symptom. Your car is suddenly guzzling gas. What could it be? Well, it could be a faulty oxygen sensor. That's electronic. Or a leaky fuel injector, a fuel system issue. Or maybe a dragging brake. That's mechanical. It could even be something as simple as low tire pressure. You see? There are so many possibilities from so many different systems that just trying to guess is a total shot in the dark. Okay, on to number 4. So you've got your strategy, you're gathering clues, you're thinking about cause versus symptom. Now it's time to actually break out the tools. But, and this is a big but, it's not just about using the tools, it's about knowing their limits. Knowing what they can tell you and, just as important, what they can't.
Here's a huge one people fall for all the time. You plug in a scan tool and it says, no DTCs, no trouble codes. So everything's fine, right? Nope, not at all. All that means is that the specific things the car's computer is programmed to watch haven't thrown up a red flag. The real problem could be something the computer doesn't even monitor.
A pro knows you need a whole forensics kit. The scan tool is like your first interview. It gives you the big story from the car's computer. The multimeter is like getting fingerprints. It lets you get up close and measure the specific evidence, like voltage or resistance. And for those really sneaky, intermittent problems, the ones that come and go, that's when you need the oscilloscope. It's like setting up a hidden camera to catch the problem in the act. Each tool tells a different part of the story.
All right, we're at our fifth and final step. And please, don't skip this one. You have to document your detective work. The job is not done when you find the fix. It's done when you've written down the story of how you got there.
And I don't just mean a couple of notes scribbled on a work order. A real diagnostic record tells a clear story. It shows the tests you ran, it points to the exact cause you identified, and it clearly explains why the repair you're recommending is the right one.
So why does this matter so much? Because that documentation is your proof. It's a professional record, sometimes even a legal one, that backs up your conclusions with evidence. It's what protects you, it protects the workshop, and it gives the customer confidence, because it shows a clear, logical path from problem to solution.
So when you step back and look at all 5 of these steps together, the strategy, the clue gathering, the deep thinking, you start to see that this is so much more than just being a technician. This is about becoming a master problem solver.
And you know what? This 5-step process works for almost anything. That problem that keeps popping up at work, that nagging thing at home you can't figure out, you can apply this exact same logic. So, I'll leave you with this question. What's one complex problem in your life that you could finally solve if you stopped guessing and started using a real strategy?